So, in understanding hypergamy, it's important to think about Superman and Clark Kent. All right, we'll call this the Superman and Clark Kent era. So, the women are all after the top 1%, like when you look at dating statistics, right? Because men will sleep at any age just for access. And because women are so predominantly focused on top genetics, this is all magnified through technology. What happens is the people at their level are no longer suitable because they've slept with high status men. Once you establish that, everything on your level feels like settling. And the more statistically, so the more society goes from this to this, the more violent society becomes, the more chaos. The men that provide the infrastructure check out, have no purpose, and these men become narcissists. And these women become unwifeable. So you're looking at, like, this is why, like, sexual degeneracy, if you look at the Roman era, this was happening. And the end of any empire, right? The age of decadence is how it ends. These men check out. These women don't procreate. These men are unacceptable. And you can see it in Superman versus Clark Kent. Think about women over 50% of women over 30 are unmarried and childless. Of the half that get married, half get divorced. And it's because of the lowered perception of men at their level. And because you weren't her first choice, because she's had experienced other choices, you're no longer her first choice. She cannot pair bond. And so interest is lost. You know, she had higher status but couldn't attain commitment. And once you've had higher status, like, there's this phrase called stuck on the highest level. Anybody on their level becomes invisible. And that's what happened with technology magnifies hypergamy. And, you know, we were already on that slide, right? So you had the sexual liberation of the 60s made this type of behavior okay, right? Free love became the broken families of the 70s and 80s. And those broken families, because the children did not see the synergy, right? This is the 50s, even more so in the 1920s, because the children did not witness the synergy. Now they're doing the same thing, but even more so. And pre-digital era, this was getting worse. Post-digital era, with all the dating apps, all the intention, all the spoils of attention, keep women in the hunting for a mate zone, never finding a mate and moving on in life, evolving. And that's the trap. So their Superman is felt as Clark Kent. And the reason they see them is because of their choices in their 20s. That's why he becomes this. And if she's not stuck to her man, he cannot contain her, right? He cannot give his gifts, his masculine gifts, if she is not his best option, right? The best option that she could ever have and has ever had. Without that bond, the capacity to contain is lessened and lessened. And even though he can do this, he's seen as this. He's invisible. And really, the masculine gift is to keep the feminine out of hell, right? To not be succumbed to emotion and emotional darkness, because we were built for the capacity to withstand pressure and tension. We don't succumb to it. And so with that purpose, Superman was driven by purpose. That was part of his empowerment, and that encouraged him to get stronger. And that's the perception of the average men, right? These are the below 6 feet, below six figures men. They haven't changed that much. What's changed is genuine burning desire from the opposite polarity and to create that synergy. So you have the Vatican enforcing no divorces, Philippines offering no divorces, minimal divorces in Muslim countries, no divorce in the Amish. You pair bonded and you moved on with your life, right? You've got out of the sexual sampling mode and the perpetual squirting mode. You moved on to mother and grandmother. Now you have the Sex and the City girls pushing into their 30s, 40s, 50s with their cat collection. Still wanted to be in this mode and playing this game. And it's a goddamn disaster. But this problem has repeated itself in history as empires move from decadence to pioneers. So that's the trap. Try to avoid it. See this guy and this guy, because the perversion that makes him comes from her history. They're the same dude. She's perfectly deserving of him, but is the ego, is the narcissism and it's the genetics that have her stuck on the highest level of the men that don't want her. That's the harsh reality here. But if you can recognize it, you can avoid the trap of the alpha widows. Good luck.